Okay, we are live. I believe my screen is shared. Karen, if you're speaking, you are on mute.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Karen LeBlanc. I will be hosting this evening the public meeting for the Southern Avenue Southeast Roadway and Safety Project. I am with the consulting team. I have with me this evening members from the District Department of Transportation, members from the construction management team, and members from the contractors team. I have to go through some housekeeping points in the very beginning here, and then we're going to get into the actual presentation. Next slide, please. So welcome to our virtual public meeting. Again, if you could just be a little patient as we're continuing to work through the process. And as we all know by this point that the technology can be a little glitchy, but I think we're all good and ready to go. I just want to review some basic stuff before we go. This meeting is being recorded as required by DC Code 2-578. The recording will be made public to everybody at the end and within 7 days after the meeting has ended on the project website and on DDOT's YouTube channel, which you can see on the slide here. We will repeat the information about the website throughout the presentation and again at the very end so that you can make sure you have that information. It is also being live streamed to DDOT's Facebook page in case anybody is participating on Facebook. If you do not wish to have your voice recorded or you do not wish to speak in that way, you can enter any questions or comments in the Q&A, and I will go over in just a few minutes how to participate in the Q&A. If you are having any technical issues, please call the phone number that you see on the screen there, 202-309-3491. And for people who are on the phone, we are going to provide some information for you as well as to how to access and participate. Next slide, please. We are using Webex. Everybody is going to be on mute throughout the meeting. You cannot unmute yourself. We are doing that so that we can get through the full presentation, make sure there's no auditory disruptions. And if you need to speak, at the very end and you want to ask questions again, we'll go through that again. There is a raised hand feature. Again, we won't be answering any questions during the presentation, but we will certainly answer them when we get to the end. The video camera is off by default. You can only see me at the moment, and you will not be able to share the video. That helps with bandwidth, and that also helps with the project team as we're trying to share information as participants. Next slide, please. If you have any questions during the presentation, to the right-hand side and on the bottom of your screen, you will see a Q&A, or to the right-hand side, I'm sorry, you'll see the Q&A box. At the very bottom, you can type in the text box your question and hit send. Make sure it does say to all participants, that's very important, or to all panelists so that we can all make sure we see your question. And then just hit send. And again, we'll be going through those at the very end. And I will go through a little bit of this at the very end of the presentation again. And again, if you dialed in by phone, dial *3, that's *3, and that's to use the raise hand function. And then I'll be able to identify that there's somebody who wants to ask a call, and we will get your question on the record and we will be able to respond at that time. Next slide, please. We've gone through the raise your hand, but in case you don't know how to get to it, if you click on the bottom right hand of the screen again, click the hand icon, and that will raise your hand. If you click participants on the bottom right of the Webex window, a new panel window will appear, and then you'll see the hand and just click the hand icon, and that will then assign a hand basically to your participant name in the list of participants that we have, and then we'll know that somebody is asking a question. Again, for those on the phone, *3 to raise your hand. Next slide, please. So now I'd like to take just a moment to introduce the project team. We have with us again from the District Department of Transportation, David Takor. David is the Team 4 project lead for the District Department of Transportation for DDOT. Phillips Folayan. Phillips is the project manager for this project, the Southern Avenue Southeast Roadway and Safety Improvement Project. We have Ms. Alberta Paul, who is the public outreach and communications, and Patrick Ogabidi, who is also a project manager on the Team 4 team. We also have with us the construction management team, Rams Engineering. We have Metin Lakey with us, Danny, Dan, and Jayan. And then we also have Saeed Sami, who's going to be taking over from me in just a moment to go through the actual project. We also have on the team from AECOM, Sean Russo, who was on the design team. And then finally, we have Mehdi Mershahi from Civil Construction, who will be the contractor out on site. And so at this point, I would like to hand it over to Mr. Sami.
Thank you, Karen. Good evening, everyone. My name is Syed Sami. As Karen already given a brief introduction, I will be representing Rams Engineering on the project, who will be performing the construction management services at Southern Avenue Southeast. So I will briefly explain in the next few slides about the general scope of the project, along with the project goals. I will keep highlighting. To start with, can you move on the next slide, please? So to give an overview of the project is located between Barnaby Road on Southern Avenue and up to United Medical Center campus is the limits of the project. Just to give a background, the project goal is to improve the pedestrian, vehicular, and bicycle safety by improving the existing road. Just to give a background as well, this site was among the top 5 high crash sites studied starting from 2015. So the project goal of improving the safety is obviously the main concern. So the next slide, please. So the roadway and safety improvements included in the project, they involve for improved safety. The main project goals are to improve safety, improve traffic operations along Southern Avenue and the adjacent areas, and infrastructure upgrades, and to public rearm enhancement. This will be achieved by installation of new traffic signals by the shared and dedicated bike lanes, reconfiguration of the road, installation of new street lighting, and widening the sidewalks, traffic calming features implementation, and upgrade of the pavement marking, and a fast and easy boarding station for the several bus stations along this road. So in the next few slides, I will highlight some key elements at the intersections. So the next slide, please. So this is the intersection on Southern Avenue Southeast and Southview Drive. Currently, as you can see in the picture, there is no signal. So after this project, there will be a new traffic signal installed over here. The next slide, please. This is Southern Avenue Southeast and 9th Street intersection. The current situation shows there is no traffic signal. The project involves installation of new traffic signals at this intersection as well. Next slide, please. So this is the intersection of Wheeler Road and Southern Avenue Southeast. This intersection involves a great deal of work during the project. Road will be widened leading up to the intersection in both directions on Southern Avenue, and there will be eventually there will be 3 lanes in each directions, including a dedicated left turn lane. This will improve the traffic flow along the road. So the next slide, please. Along with these 3 highlighted areas, we have several other safety and roadway improvement features that will be involved. So traffic median islands at Barnaby Road will be installed. Improvements to the stormwater and drainage structures will be done. Installation of ADA compliant ramps at various locations within the project, and installation of trees and improvement to the landscape along this road. And there will be installation and upgrade of the street lighting on this area. Next slide, please. So just to go over the project schedule, the project is about to start. The contractor has been issued the NTP, and currently they are working on installing the roadway signs, the roadwork signs, the tree protection fence on this area. And in the next few weeks, construction will begin for the stormwater and utility works included in the project. For any advisories, DC Water and contractor and consultant will be working on issuing the advisories to the public through our website. So the construction will continue through 2022, and it is anticipated to finish at the end of 2022. So during the construction period, I would like everyone to know what to expect. So there will be construction signage along the routes. There will be temporary sidewalk closures, lane closures and flagging operations, bus station closures and relocations. There will be parking restrictions, and there would be temporary water shutoff, which will be coordinated by DC Water, and whoever the affected people are, they will be notified through our website and through DC Water, and we will also update it on the website. So during the construction period, we advise all public and motorists, pedestrians to be alert and be cognizant of the traffic diversions and sidewalk closures. And we would also request all pedestrians to follow the signage, and especially in crossing the road only from the dedicated areas. So, next slide, please. So now I would hand it back to Karen to go over the public outreach.
Thank you, Saeed. Yeah, so for public outreach,
We are not hearing you, Karen. Lucas, are you muted? Okay.
Thank you, Saeed. So for public outreach, we have set up a project website at southernavsedc.com. That's southernavesec.com. And we will be posting traffic advisories, public meeting minutes, project updates on that site, as well as there's an FAQ on the site for additional questions that you may have, and general project information. And then there's a contact us page as well, and that will contact the team, and we will get back to you within 24 hours. We will be hosting another public meeting later as the construction continues to update everybody and the ANCs as we continue to move forward. We also will be handing out residence letters as we get ready to be start construction out on the streets, to make sure that residents and businesses are aware that the construction is happening. And then the field crews will be out posting signs. The contractor will be out posting signs. Limit, if there's parking restrictions and things along those lines in advance, so that people will be prepared for the construction as it continues and moves down the street. Next slide, please. Again, Philip Spolian is the project manager. That's his email right there. And so if you have any specific questions or anything, you can feel free to email Mr. Folian. And then that again is the website information should you need it. That is the end of the presentation. We are happy to answer any questions that you may have. Again, we're asking you to use the Q&A when you post the question. If you could make sure to click on to send it to all panelists and not to everyone, to just change that field to all panelists. And there's a reminder in the chat as well to make sure that you do that before you send a question. So then the first question is, when you talk about sidewalk closures, what exactly do you mean? And then the question is, will DDOT not be following its own rules for safe accommodations?
Thank you so much, Karen. What I meant by sidewalk closure would be that the sidewalks may require to be closed for work, construction work, but there will be alternates provided and there will be signage saying that the sidewalk in a particular area is temporarily closed and there will be an alternate available uh, along the project. I wanted to have everyone note that they need to follow the signage on the project for any such closures.
Does anybody have any other questions?
Karen, Garrett also raised his hand. We would like to take a verbal question.
Okay, great. I was
Garrett?
just looking. Yep, I was just looking at the list.
Good evening. Thanks for holding this meeting. First, I just wanted to say I perhaps missed a few minutes of the presentation, but I'm having trouble sort of getting a sense of the entire scope of this project. So two questions. Could you maybe really quickly walk through the improvements or the changes that this project will make to biking on Southern Avenue? I've seen mention of bike lanes and sharrows, neither of which really will make this street all that safe for biking. But I would like some clarification on, are those continuous bike lanes through the length of the project? That's my first question. And then also, I specifically looking at Wheeler Road and Southern Avenue. Can you explain to me how widening this street to 6 lanes is going to make this safer, given that there have been multiple fatalities along Southern Avenue in just the past few years for pedestrians? Could you explain how widening the road to 6 lanes, 60 feet across, is going to be safer for pedestrians? Thank you.
If I may, I don't know the gentleman that just spoke. This is Patrick Ubedi here. If I may ask you, did you ever at any time attended the community meeting during the design?
That is a fantastic question. I know that I attended a meeting 5 years ago, at which point I don't know if that was brought up.
Okay.
To express some frustration again, I think it's been difficult to follow this project, to actually know with certainty what is happening at any given point. So I know that this is now going to construction, which is the wrong time to bring up this feedback. But there have not been many opportunities, I'll say that.
Okay, if I may remember, I think the design group that designed it, which is DDOT, participate. Whatever we are doing out there now, we are going to be constructing out there now is based on what was agreed upon by the community, and that they were given approval that yes, that's what they want, and that's what we try to implement now.
I understand that.
Samir, Samir Shuk is on the phone. I think he's on the meeting from our consultant. He may know more, but let me try to expand a little bit on what we're dealing with down at Wheeler. I think what we're doing is we're expanding lanes to include safer turn lanes down there. And when we add lanes, we alter the phasing of the traffic lights to accommodate more time for pedestrians to cross. So there's definitely an improvement in safety, as a result of both of those improvements, or both of those factors, should I say. So it's not, we are not going backwards here. We are progressing forward with meeting the Mayor's Vision Zero ideals, and that's what we've implemented on this project. There may be other reasons why we add lanes at certain locations, and I think mobility and safety come to the fore, but we don't add lanes for the sake of it. We don't necessarily add lanes to increase, to increase as a result of increased volume. I'm sorry, my cat hasn't been fed yet. But there are some of the reasons. What I'd like to do also is extend myself to you to run through the improvements on that junction at a time of your convenience, just so that we can sit down with the actual designers who designed the project and ourselves, and give you some FaceTime, whether it's FaceTime webinar or whatever. But yeah, it doesn't have to be done and dusted today. We can follow on from there. But Samir, if you do have any other, I think Samir, our designer, is on here. If there's anything in addition to what I mentioned, Samir could perhaps chime in.
Yeah, thanks, David. Yeah, no, I think you already explained it, and as the gentleman was saying, Wheeler Road, it's not 6 lanes actually, it's 5 lanes that we have, and all we are doing is adding 1 right turn and 1 left turn lanes. And as far as the pedestrian safety is concerned, as David mentioned, we have the signal phasing for the pedestrians, and we have accommodated the high visibility crosswalks along all 4 legs, and we tried to reduce the length of the crosswalks also. That would improve the experience of pedestrians when accessing or when using the intersection across Southern Avenue as well as across Wheeler Road. And the sidewalks have also been widened at the intersection area.
Great. Well, I appreciate the explanation. I'm and I do understand. And widening sidewalks is actually quite appreciated, given the state of those things. I just merely wanted to point out, as I hope has been pointed out throughout the community engagement, that Southern Avenue is a very dangerous road. Just in the past 5 years, along this stretch, more than 6 fatalities and many severe injuries from crashes, many of which are related to speed. And as I hope we know, widening the road does not reduce speeding. In fact, it increases it. So I would welcome the opportunity to walk through this in more detail with you all. I understand this is not the best venue for that.
Widening the road with additional measured controls. I think that's what we've done up near UMC, where I think a couple of those incidents did occur, those fatalities did occur. It has been high on the agenda here. We actually extended the design period to accommodate focus on those locations. So we've introduced a stop there, and we have a crest on the roadway where traffic is coming at speed before it hits the crest, and then there's a short distance at speed down to that location. So we've alleviated that, so absolutely. If you feel up to it and you'd like to understand more, we'll definitely make the time for you. And thank you for the questions, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. And then Ms. McAllister, your question, I think, may have just been resolved, but just in case. She says, I may have missed this, but can you tell me more about the lane reconfigurations, please?
Sorry, Samir, I'm going to have to hand that to you again. If you want to reiterate what we've just said, if that was missed by the participant. Thank you very much.
So in the existing condition, we have, I wouldn't say for the entire corridor, but most of the corridor, we have 2 lanes in each direction. And in the proposed condition, we still have 2 lanes, but the outer lanes are converted to shared lanes in both the direction, eastbound and westbound. And those lanes will be shared with the vehicular traffic as well as the bicyclists as well. Wherever we had the opportunity and wherever we had the space, we tried to accommodate the protected bike lanes also along the corridor. I wouldn't say that we were able to provide the protected bike lanes for the entire length. That was just not feasible. But we did try, and we did provide the protected bike lanes at certain location. At intersection at Wheeler, as I mentioned earlier, we added 1 lane in each direction, so that provides a free right turn lane as well as a left turn lane for the traffic that is coming into DC. I mean, the westbound traffic or the southbound traffic, making a left turn on Wheeler. So we have added 1 lane there also. So that intersection is a major reconfiguration along the corridor. But for the rest of the corridor, we haven't made any changes in the existing lane configuration, except that they have been reconfigured from the usage point of view.
Okay, and then the last is really more of a comment of difficulty in outreach to the residents not being effective because of technological challenges. So that's noted, and we'll make sure that we adjust the plans accordingly to make sure that we can reach as many people as we can if the internet and virtual meetings is not as effective. So thank you for that comment. Oh, yes, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, this is Wendy Glenn, Constituent Services Director for Ward 8 Councilmember Crayon White. And we really we don't want it to just be that we've heard the question. We really want to speak to the question. The question being that, really the statement being that, you know, when DDOT does any changes in Ward 8, they assume that the outreach that they do is good enough for Ward 8, and it technically is not. It really is not sufficient. These meetings have been going on, and our residents knew nothing about them. That's the first thing, because they were on, off, start, stop, and things of that nature. And of course, we had the pandemic, and everyone understands that, but there was nothing done in between to alert the ANCs or anything.
In terms of what?
In terms of what you're doing, in terms of how you change the roadway and things of that nature. Olivia Henderson is the ANC for that area. She didn't even know about this meeting.
Okay, this is not, again, like this is Patrick here. Thank you for the question. I think I've always worked in those walls. I don't think nothing is done in a vacuum. And this is construction. During it, we started out with the planning division. The planning, the administration, they went to the community, doing what we call the concept. When they were thinking of what they're going to be doing, what they're going to do, everything was, it went through it and they narrowed it down, what they want, what they don't want. And based on that, then it was sent to us and said, this is the final, what the community want, and this is what we're going to be designing. And that is how we move forward with those things. So again, I always go to those community meetings. It's not everyone that is invited that shows up sometime. Even tomorrow, even when the construction starts, there are people that are going to say, oh, and I was not aware of it. Even you send out information. Again, we do our best, Optimus. We work for the community. So nobody knowingly or purposely said, oh, we don't want the community to be aware of what we are doing.
Okay,
I'll
but
second that,
they
Patrick.
just,
Sorry.
again,
Yeah.
they just had their ANC meeting,
Yeah.
and I think that would have been the optimal time. They just had an ANC meeting, and
Right.
I didn't see anyone there to say, okay, well, we're starting, or this is where how we're proceeding. And when I sent out the notice myself to Olivia Henderson, she was like, I already have, I don't know anything about this meeting. So, I mean, if it's not stated to the ANCs, then I don't know how are they supposed to send it out to their community, because again, everybody's not on the internet.
Catherine, did we reach out to the ANCs prior to the meeting?
I did. I emailed them twice, and
Right.
I also emailed the council member's office, and then I also emailed the mayor's community relations folks, who said they would also forward it.
Right, and all that's happened within the past 2 to 3 weeks or so, or
Yes, sir.
okay. And but what I'm going to harp back to the latter stages of the design, where beyond a certain point, we had accommodated, we had optimized between what the community wants were and what was credible moving forward for this project in terms of safety, in terms of mobility, and in terms of progressive development of the area. So beyond that, there was a period of time where we extended the design effort to focus more on some of the safety aspects identified with and associated with some of the accidents that were the focal points for the accidents. And that did not require input from the ANCs. That we have certain criteria to meet in terms of minimizing accidents and in implementing solutions to achieve that. So that is why there has been a lag between the latest design meeting, getting funding into place, and where we are now with putting the project out. So I acknowledge what you're saying, and I appreciate it, and it's lessons learned going forward. And I can't apologize, because I believe that we have been pinged so many times by the residents to move this project as soon as possible, and that has been our focus. And we've introduced 2 public outreach meetings during the construction phase. This is one of them, I believe, Catherine, if I'm correct. And I think I've given you a very comprehensive response for Councillor Gray. Ms. P, I don't know if you'd like to
Yes.
say something here.
Alberta Paul, some or a few of our guests today may remember the meetings we held on the design to get input, not just from the ANCs, but the civic associations, the hospital staff. We held them in the auditorium of the hospital as we got to the final design. What happens, as I'm trying to emphasize that what David said, is we couldn't get the funding as quickly as we needed. So the last meeting held in your ward about this project, when it was at 100% design, was 4 years ago. We certainly, as public servants, apologize for the delay, but we had to wait until we had a contract to move forward. Throughout the design meetings we had, we took input from everybody, and to the extent those suggestions, ideas could be integrated into the final design, which is now going to construction, we did. We have no problem as we move forward to come to the individual ANC meetings, and I will work directly with Karen LeBlanc to talk to the ANCs directly on the phone and get us on the agenda. We are transparent, and we will come to your meetings via Zoom, because we're still under the same restriction you as residents are in terms of public meetings on site.
And I thank you for that. What I will say is, I was not in the council member's office 4 years ago. He barely was in office 4 years ago. And the ANCs that were in office possibly 4 years ago when this was done are no longer the ANCs. The ANCs that run along that area are primarily brand new, as the election just happened last year.
Yes,
So
I
they are
understand.
not aware. So that's all I'm saying. Like, can we play a little bit of catch up? Because if we're talking about community engagement and actually letting the residents know, a lot of things and a lot of people turn over in 4 years. So I just want to make sure that everybody is aware that those are the calls that I receive as the director of constituent services for the council member. And so I relay that message to every meeting
Oh,
attendee that I come to. So, I mean, for me, I got
absolutely.
there in 2019. So,
In fact, this particular project, young man, we will work with you because I have made calls. I've been around for 20 years, native Washingtonian, and I live at the border of your ward. I have called and called and called. People will commit to participating, but then they don't show up. So you and I are going to work on improving attendance and participation. That's our goal, okay?
absolutely. So I'm going to hop off because I have another meeting to attend.
Oh, no,
I'm in
don't
between.
go.
Yes, I'm in between meetings as I always am. But
Okay.
I will post this to social media, and I am going to post it in every space in social media because
Right.
that's where my folks kind of lay, and I get them to actually do the footwork and the groundwork to send it out to our residents who are not on social media and who are
Thank you
not
so much.
up there
Thank,
technologically.
thank
Okay.
you very much.
Thank
For
you
your
so much.
contribution. Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
no problem. All right, bye bye.
Mr. Hennigan had another question. Can you clarify the last statement about protected bike lanes? Will this project actually install protected bike lanes or standard painted bike lanes? Having more information about this would be very, very helpful. I cannot find the information on the site. And there's not been information to respond to in the past years.
Samir, would you like to answer this question?
If I can remember correctly, I don't think I see where he's going with the questions. We don't have per se what they call protected, just like those one we have on what do call it, 16th Street, 14th Street area, whereby there's a delineation for bike to be in within. So this is just a marking separating them from the motorists. That's what it is. These are just pavement markings like you normally have a regular bike. That's all.
That's correct. I mean, along the most of the corridor, we have shared bike lane. And there are a few sections, few smaller sections where we have a buffer area that varies from 1 to 2 feet. And we have a separate bike lanes in those areas. But as I said, there are very small sections for those kind of quote unquote protected bike lanes. And I mean, yeah, as David said, yeah, if someone wants to have a closer look, I think we can have one-on-one meeting or some discussion to kind of show the plans for the entire corridor. So people will have better understanding where we have smaller sections of the protected bike lanes and where we have the shared bike lanes.
Okay, I don't see any more questions and I don't see any hands raised. I'll just give it another, if anybody has any other questions, let us know. Okay, well, thank you all again for attending. We will follow up with the folks that we've talked to today. If you need to get in touch with anybody, again, email Mr. Faloyan or you can email me. My information is on the website as well. And we will be back to the community with additional information as we move forward with the project. I didn't know, David, if you had anything else you wanted to close out with, or I think we're completed.
Karen, Catherine, I'm very happy that the project has broken ground. It's been a long time coming, and it will relieve me of some of the knocking on the door associated with not getting there yet, but we're there, and we hope you the improvements will start mushrooming up around you, and we hope you'll appreciate them as they develop and they become usable. Thank you.
Okay, that's it. Thank you, everybody. The last thing is, as a recipient of federal assistance, DDOT has to ensure its programs are in compliance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. There's a form that will pop up in your browser. If you could fill that out, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.